Anyway, we must now do the news, and we begin with this. What is the worst thing in the world?
Trying on trousers.
No, he's right. Actually, you're right. Trying on trousers is the worst thing in the world. But the second worst thing in the world is when you're going on a journey somewhere and someone in the car says, do you mind if we stop for some reason? Oh, look, there's an ancient monument. You think, I don't want to go and look at an ancient monument, but I want to go and look at my friends we're going to see, I haven't seen for 5 years.
No, you're absolutely right, because there are some people who they stop on a journey at a motorway services to play a fruit machine.
No, it's worse than that. There's people who say, I need to stretch my legs. If you're Alec Guinness and you've been in a box in a Japanese prisoner of war camp for 6 months, yes, you need to stretch your legs, but after 30 miles in a car, you don't.
But it's when people say they need to stop to eat. I've got to stop to eat. Why? I can't imagine a journey long enough that means you are going to need refuelling. It's not.
Well, if you were driving from Cairo to Khartoum...
Yes, but not if in Britain. If you're going from Leicester to Birmingham, you don't need food. You're not going to starve in that time.
No, and I'm glad you brought this up, because this is where I'm going, OK? Because one of the places I could never understand why people stopped at was Little Chef.
Yes.
Because what they did... No, really. What they did was they took ingredients and then ruined them.
I can let you know that I once stopped at a Little Chef very early in the morning, and I said, could I have an omelette? And the woman said, no, I'm sorry, sir, the powder hasn't arrived yet.
That's not a good sign, is it?
I once dropped a sausage from my plate in Little Chef, and it bounced. They made it out of old squash balls. Now, the other day we heard that they'd shut, getting on for half their outlets, as it were. And we weren't the slightest bit surprised. But the other day we stopped at one that was still open. And I went in, and the guy said, he gave me this paper cup, and he said, it's a casserole mash. Now, I thought, that's just going to be bits of placenta...
Oh, God.
...garnished with the chef's bodily fluids.
Nice.
Second nicest thing I've ever put in my mouth.
Second.
It was brilliant.
I loved it, to be honest.
But you know why it is? It's because they've got Heston Blumenthal doing the Little Chef menu.
Yeah, and he cut his teeth, didn't he, in Heston Services?
Yes.
That's right. BMW has sent us news of a new Mini. It's a concept, OK? There's a picture of it here. It's a twee little van with Buckingham picked out in old-fashioned sign writing, and it looks like the sort of thing we might have been driving just after we won the war.
Oh, for God's sake, please, don't go there.
Won it.
Don't go there.
They've done this before, haven't they, BMW? Because do you remember a year or so ago they did a Mini, another Mini like that, but in the back it had a wickerwork picnic hamper and a silver tea set.
The point is, we would like to extend an invitation to people of Germany to come over here, not in a bomber.
No, not all at once. Not all at once.
Not
Do it in
in
dribs
uniform
and
marching, but
not at night.
Yeah, not at night, no, but come over here as tourists and we'll show you the Shard, for example, in London. Modern skyscraper, we'll show you the Range Rover Evoque. We'll take you to an Adele gig. No, maybe not Adele.
Not right now.
Not if ITV are covering it, because you just get out of it.
I'll be upset.
There'll be an advert for Fancy Line. Germans need to come here, OK? They really do. They need to come here and understand we're not driving around in twee little vans tugging our forelocks at the Squire anymore.
No, but it's true, because they are obsessed with this, the Germans, bless them. They always say, oh, we love your England, with your queen and your little houses, mit out as electricity.
We should go over to Germany with mullets and leather shorts and wander about whistling Scorpion tunes and see how they like racial stereotyping, which we don't do. News from the continent. I've always wanted to say that. News from the continent. The French have announced that from July the 1st, you must, by law, carry a breathalyser kit in your car. Now, you can understand the logic behind that until you think about it carefully, because then there's a flaw, OK? You come out of a bar, you've had a glass of wine, you think, am I OK for driving? You use your breathalyser kit, and it says, yes, you are, but then you can't drive because you've used your breathalyser kit.
And it's a one-shot deal, so...
Well, of course it is. You'd have to walk to the chemist and buy another breathalyser kit before you could set off.
Don't they also make us carry warning triangles when we're driving?
Yes, and in France you've also got to carry a full set of spare bulbs and a high-visibility vest.
Aren't all those things kind of the police's job? Do they also want us to stick a load of cones in the back of the car, just in case, and maybe a radio and a notepad and a pencil?
But if they're turning us all into policemen, we could stop other motorists and help ourselves to 130 of their euros.
Yes, we could stop Brits on the last tolls just before Calais, who are rushing to get the ferry and have been speeding.
Has anyone here been caught speeding in France?
Well, it's like saying, has anybody been to France?
Do you have to carry, like, handcuffs and a big truncheon as well?
No, that's Holland. Now, Richard, tell me, when you go to work at the BBC in London, where do you park your car?
Well, Jeremy, I park it in the car park at the BBC, underground,
Yeah.
where everybody else parks. Where do you park?
I park in the underground car park. It's a bit of a walk, but that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Now, there is a loading bay just outside our office, which is a lot more convenient, but obviously there's no parking there. Now, I took a photograph in this loading bay this week, OK? Here it is. Now, we may recognise this car if we watch The Apprentice. It belongs to Lord Sir Sugar.
Yeah, but to be fair, his chauffeur was probably loading him into the building at the time.
Exactly.
So it could be in the loading bay.
Technically, this was a delivery, so that's fine. More worrying is this, OK? If we zoom in. Now, right there's a little Fiat Panda parked, blocking the door, and the honest working men whose job is to deliver things to the BBC. And I'm wondering, Hammond, who has a little black Fiat Panda?
I don't know. At the BBC?
Does David Attenborough? No, he doesn't.
Paxman.
Moving on. Most important news of the week. As we know, road safety campaigners are forever telling us these days that driving is extremely difficult. It's so difficult that you couldn't possibly do something else at the same time. But we disagree with them.
We absolutely... We think driving is easy and you can do pretty much anything while you're driving in perfect safety.
We do think that, and a couple of weeks ago he said to prove that point he would drive around our track while sewing a button onto a shirt.
OK, who'd like to see me try that?
Yes, I would.
There we go, we got it on tape. This is a little Suzuki Swift. There's me at the wheel, and here I am sewing a button on as I drive. Try and get it back underneath again before we get to the hammerhead, which is tricky because I've got too many chins and I can't really see what I'm doing. Memo to self, lose weight. So there you are, ladies and gentlemen, you can do it. You can sew a button.
Yeah. Now, it goes on a bit, hold on, because after you'd said you'd do that, James then said he reckoned he could drive a lap of our track in a car whilst in a sleeping bag.
Can you?
Well, let's find out.
Well, here we go.
Here I am driving along in a Suzuki Swift, exactly as you were.
Are you wearing normal clothes, James?
No, I'm in a sleeping bag.
Pocket corner, shuffling wheel, shuffle, 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 shuffle.
Now, just tell me, was it easy?
There was only one problem, actually. That blithering idiot Hammond has turned the heater up to full blast because it was funny. And, of course, I can't reach the knob.
So there we are, road safety enthusiasts, proof that you can do other things while driving. I'm not suggesting that people do. Don't, for heaven's sake, drive to work tomorrow morning, you know, in a sack or anything like that. But we just showed that you can drive while sewing or in a sleeping bag, so you can certainly drive while eating an apple or...
Yeah, putting a CD in.
Well, if you still live in the 1980s, yes, putting a CD in. Driving is easy.
It's not difficult.